All right, we are at the top of the hour, so I think it's time to begin. So, welcome everybody to this month's episode, I suppose, of the ACT uh, webinar training series. Today, we're going to talk about sales accelerators through ACT Advantage. My name is Brent Milner, and I'm going to be your host today as we do this deep dive into ACT Advantage, the new CRM and front office suite that we introduced this past spring. Got a couple of housekeeping items before we start, though. Because we've got a large audience, we've muted all of the lines, but we do encourage you to ask questions in the Q&A panel of Zoom. If you're having a hard time finding that panel, look for the More button in the Zoom toolbar, and then you'll find the Q&A panel inside there. We've got some folks online who are going to be answering those questions throughout this webinar, and we'll stay around at the end as well to tie up any loose ends that may be out there. We're also recording this today. We're going to send the recording of this to everybody who's attended shortly after the webinar is finished. Now, I'm really excited today because I want to introduce ACT Advantage to you. If you're already familiar with ACT Advantage, great. But if you're not, this is truly the most significant advancement for ACT really in the last decade. ACT Advantage expands ACT's outreach outside the four walls of traditional CRM, and it positions it at the center of all of your relationship management activities across your entire front office. What it does is fuses together in one solution your customer data with your sales processes, your marketing outreach, your website, your accounting system, customer service functions, and more. What we're doing is we're giving you maximum efficiency and productivity. Think of it kind of as an entire business in a box. There are new features here like interactive quotes, which we'll look at today, online appointment scheduling, email list verification, surveys, web forms, online event management, project management, accounting integration, even a customer portal. All of these things means that ACT Advantage is an all-in-one relationship management solution. So rather than managing and also paying for a bunch of disconnected point solutions, you now have everything that you need inside ACT in one easy to use place. You may have heard the saying that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and ACT Advantage is a great example of this because it can help you extend your marketing reach. It can help you drive deals through your pipeline faster and even manage your relationships more effectively. So we're really excited about it, and our customers are loving it so far. We like to think about ACT Advantage as delivering value through three buckets of functionality: sales, marketing, and productivity accelerators. In today's session, we're going to focus on sales accelerators, or the new functionality that helps you better engage prospects in your pipeline and then drive deals to close more quickly. In the next two training webinars, we're going to cover marketing accelerators and productivity accelerators. So make sure you sign up for those and attend those, and I'll show you how to do that at the end of the webinar today. So let's start by just taking a look at the sales accelerators in ACT Advantage. The three new signature sales accelerators in ACT Advantage are interactive quotes, online appointment scheduling, and online event management. And these are things that you may have been using add-ons or third-party products for in the past, but now you can do all of these right inside of ACT, which is a great convenience, and it can reduce your costs as well. Interactive quotes lets you design and send professional, highly customizable quotes right from within ACT. And the cool part here is from there, an opportunity is automatically created. Follow-ups are scheduled for both you and the prospect. And you can see in real time when somebody opens, reads, and accepts your quote. This is a game changer in terms of driving responsiveness. Online appointment scheduling lets customers reserve blocks of time with you or your team for a service call or an annual review or a product demo or whatever makes sense in your business. It's a great way of driving engagement with customers, and it saves time going back and forth on the phone or in email. And then finally, online event management is like having an assistant working on your behalf to set up and drive the administration behind web events, like the one we're on today. And so this again is another huge convenience. But I want to check these out. Let's see what these look like in the product. And I want to begin with interactive quotes. I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a quote and then send it to a potential customer. And from there, we can track it to see if they've even viewed the quote. Maybe they've made some revisions to it or accepted it. And then we'll be able to look at some reports and charts inside ACT just to see how we're doing over time. So let's jump into ACT right now. And I've found that probably the best way to do this is by going to your opportunities area first and creating an opportunity record in ACT. And with that, we'll include all of the products and services which will add monetary value to the opportunity. You can even connect this up with an online form on your website to generate these opportunities for you. So that's what I've kind of done ahead of time. I've created this opportunity, and I'm going to open that opportunity right now. Now, normally, what I would do is I would work with my customer or my prospective customer and work through the regular process with them just to vet out the early stages of, what do they need? When do they need it delivered? I may even deliver a presentation or a demonstration of my products and services during the beginning of the opportunity. And eventually, we're going to enter into some preliminary negotiations. Maybe I just had that phone call yesterday, and resulting from that phone call, they requested a quote from me. And so this is where I'm going to utilize the new interactive quotes feature of ACT. And you can get there by clicking this interactive quotes link at the top of your opportunity screen. So once you get into the interactive quotes area, this is where you can now generate a new quote from an opportunity record that already exists in ACT. So I'm going to click this new button to generate a new quote. And after I do that, all I need to do is select use an existing opportunity, since that's what I've already created ahead of time. When I do that, this is going to populate all the opportunities that are assigned to me below. So I just need to select one of them. I'm going to choose this grand opening hops on Birch just to keep everything consistent. I'm going to name it at the top, grand opening hops on Birch, because I want my quote title to match the name of my opportunity. And from here, I'm all set. And all I have to do now is click the create quote button at the bottom of the screen. Now this creates and publishes this quote immediately, but I can still edit the quote with any additional information that I need. And the tabs up here at the top let me do that, where I can make some changes. So beginning with this quote tab, I can set up taxes and any discount rates that I want to add on to this quote. On the right, I can assign a salesperson. If it's not going to be me, I can assign it to somebody else at my company. The line items area should already be populated with the products and services that I included from my opportunity record, but I could make some edits here if I wanted to. And these will be automatically synced back to the opportunity record so that it also stays up to date. Another great optional setting here is to make any of these items editable by the customer. So let's say that one of these items that I had spoken to my customer about, they didn't know like a specific number of these objects. What I can do is edit this, and down below, I can say, make the quantity editable, so that now when the customer receives that quote, they can change the amount of this object by a certain number that I decide. Let's say I want them to increment it by either 10, by 10 or more. So that's one thing I can do when I'm editing a quote. I could also say that, while looking at this, they weren't even entirely sure about ordering one of these items, but I put it in the quote anyway to leave it optional for them. So again, I can edit this one, and instead of making the quantity editable, I could mark this item as optional. So once they get the quote, they can decide whether they want it as part of the quote or not. So those are kind of two items that I can leave adjustable by the customer. Let's see what else we have here. We have an opportunity tab, which brings in the data from the opportunity record. And usually I don't need to make any changes to this, but this just lets me see the opportunity record from within the quote. And then these two other tabs, log and activity, these won't list much information yet until I start sending this quote out to the customer and we start seeing some activity happen with it. But let's take a look at the quote now just to preview it before we send it out. So back on the quotes area, what I can do is I can click the preview button next to this quote that I've generated. So there's a little preview button here. It's going to open up this quote in a new tab. And this is my sort of my default layout for the quote. I've created additional looks and feels for it. This is kind of like the default view, but you can design your own template and let that work for you too. So if I go back into my quote, what I can do is share, produce it using one of the template layouts that I've created ahead of time. So I'm going to do that and show you how that is different from what we've already seen. Now, if I go back to my main view and I preview this quote again, you'll see that I've added some colors and some, I've added my logo at the top. But in here, you can see, this is the quote that automatically gets numbered. We have the dates associated with it, when this quote will expire. Down below, we have our line items for this quote with the customer. And like I said before, they could change the quantity of this item because I made it editable for them. As they change the quantity, the dollar value increases. Same thing with the posters item that I made optional. If they uncheck it, it removes it from the quote. So these are really interactive for these customers. So what do we do next? Now that this quote is created, how do we get it to our customer? Well, what we're going to do is back on the quotes area, we're going to send this out. But before I do that, I want to quickly show you the settings area over here because there's a ton of things that you can do here. So let's jump into the settings. First, you can establish a handful of defaults like how your quotes are numbered, the default expiration timing of your quotes, the currency types, even tax settings. If you need to put those in here, you can do that too. If you want to set up a review process, maybe you need your quotes to be reviewed and approved by a certain person at your company, you can do that here. You can also personalize quote communications for each user in ACT. And then you can automate any follow-ups that you may want to do. When you send a quote, maybe you want to automate an email that goes out saying, I've sent a quote, or when the quote is accepted, or even before the quote expires, sending out a reminder to the customer. So there's a lot of follow-ups that you can set ahead of time. In the layouts area, you can create or import layouts so that your quotes look exactly like the way you want them to look. And there's a lot more I could show here, but we have a lot of other stuff to cover in our time. So let's jump back into the process of sending this quote that I just created. So back on my main interactive quotes area, you can see I have 21 quotes, and the one we're going to send is this one, the Hops on Birch quote that we just created. What I'm going to do is in the action buttons on the left, I'm going to click this paper airplane button. That is for sending the quote. Now I can make any edits here if I need to. I have a default email that's going to go out. I could change that up, make it personalize it a little bit more if I wanted to. I can add additional people to this quote if I want to, add them to the CC or the BCC fields. You can even schedule this to be sent at a specific day and time. If you don't want to send it immediately, I can check this box and send it later. This is useful if you're catching up on things over the weekend and you just want to make sure it doesn't go out until everybody's back in the office. But after you make all these changes, all we need to do now is just click the send quote button and it will send that quote out immediately. So once this is out, did I miss something? Let me see here. That should send that out. Once this goes out, then it's going to go to your customer's email where they can then review it. I may have clicked it too many times. I might have sent it out several times, but that's fine. If I go to, I think I have an email for this customer here. And here, yeah, I sent it out twice. That's okay. They'll get an email like this that says your quote is ready. And of course, I could have customized that to make it make more sense to them by putting my company name in there and so forth and so on. But now they'll be able to view this quote either by an attachment or by the link. Now, they can't interact with it if they just open the PDF. What they need to do is click this link in order to interact with this quote. But it's pretty straightforward. Once they open this quote, now in ACT, I will have received notification that it's been viewed by the customer. And from here, they can just decide what they want to do, whether they want to accept this quote or not. They can make any changes, just like I showed you earlier on the template. Maybe she wants to increase this by 10 down below. If she wants to accept the quote, she'll put her name in here and her email address. And any other information that she might need to give me. But if she wants to accept it, then she'll click accept quote. And there'll be a verification message that she needs to fill out. So we also send out a verification code just to make sure that it's at the right person. Once they verify, then that quote will be accepted, and I'll be able to look this back up in ACT. So my opportunity will now be marked as closed and won in ACT as well, because this quote has been verified and accepted by the customer. So if we go back to ACT, I want to show you really quickly some of the quick reports and charts that you can view anytime when you're inside interactive quotes. If I go to my activity dashboard, it'll show me this quote that I just sent. You'll see that it's marked as closed and won. I can expand this to show what's happened over time, when they viewed the quote, when it was sent. You can see I spammed that button a few times, so I sent it 3 times, but each of those will have their own little timestamp associated with them. In the reports area, I can view the monthly deals chart at the top, which shows a lifetime of deals won versus those that were expired or lost. You can change the filters at the top to show, a different time range and different salespeople and so forth. So there's a lot of ways to filter out exactly what you want to see. Scrolling down, quotes by status shows all quotes as a chart, broken down by those that are still open, those are won, and those that are expired. And then the last 2 charts that I'm going to show here are breakdowns by salesperson. So one shows the open quotes by salespeople, and the other shows the deals won by my salespeople as well. So lots of good reporting features, time-based reporting features, monetary-based reporting features that you can look up directly from within interactive quotes. There's no need to run any complex reports or anything like that. You can view all these right here. If I go back to my quotes area, we'll see that now that Sharon has accepted this quote, its status changes to closed and won, and we're all good to go. Let's switch gears now, and let's talk about another feature here in ACT. It's called the online appointment scheduling. Now, this lets me and my staff set up our own calendars of availability inside ACT so that customers can then book time with us, whether they are booking a prepaid training session or maybe complimentary troubleshooting calls or basic sales inquiries or whatever the needs are that we might have. The bookings that they perform here then appear on my calendar in ACT. And of course, if I've integrated ACT with Outlook or Google, it's also going to appear on those calendars too. So let's have a look at this, see how we can accomplish that. Now in ACT Advantage, I can access this from the additional features area. Most of these new features we're talking about are going to be available here on the new features area. You can see interactive quotes is here, but we're also adding them in different areas of ACT that kind of just make more sense. So you saw how I accessed interactive quotes from the opportunities area. Well, I can also access the online appointment scheduling feature from within my calendar and my task list area. So you can see it up here at the top. Try to put those in places that make sense so that they're easy to find. If I click this online appointment scheduling link at the top, it's going to take me right to this tool, and I can begin. So the best way to start is to set up your availability inside the online appointment scheduling. I'm going to do that by going to the My Availability area, and this will let me set up several different things. This may not reflect your total working hours, but what you're doing here is you're setting up the hours of each day that you want to be made available to your customers. So keep that in mind when you're setting your availability. Whatever you set as available here will be times that customers can book on your calendar. And so I usually begin here with the days of the week. I want to keep maybe my Mondays and my Fridays free from internal projects. So really Tuesday through Thursday are the days that I'm going to be available for meetings with customers. Now you can either set the same hours each day, or you can uncheck this box and then manage each day on its own. So let's say I want to make Tuesday 10 a.m. to maybe 2 p.m. And then maybe I want to make Wednesday more available, maybe 9 to 4. And then Thursday, let's do noon to, I don't know, 4 o'clock. Now we'll leave it at 5. Oops, I didn't mean to uncheck that. So as long as I have this unchecked, it's going to handle each of these days differently on my calendar. Now we have also down below a range of availability from my current date. What that means is if I don't want customers to book same day appointments with me, then I should put a value in here. If it's at 0, that means they can book time immediately on my calendar. And that's not enough time for me to prepare, especially if I go out to lunch or something and I come back and I'm already half hour late to a meeting that just got booked. So what I usually do is set this at a minimum of 1 day, just so they can't book a same day appointment. But you can change this to hours, days, weeks, to the earliest appointment where they can set. And then you can also change the farthest in the future. So maybe I don't want anybody to book more than 1 month out because I might go on vacation and I haven't really planned that yet. So I want to make sure that my calendar is free sometime in the future. So you can set up this range of this window of availability as a default. The buffer time on the right lets you guarantee that your appointments won't fall adjacent to each other. So if I set a buffer of 30 minutes and somebody books an hour with me from noon to 1 p.m., then the next bookable time will be 1:30. So this is a great way to just make sure you're not being booked back to back to back with all your meetings. Some of you are comfortable with that, but I like to have a little bit of time to kind of decompress from one meeting and prepare for the next. So that's why I like a little buffer time here. Most importantly is to set your time zone. Please do this. When you're setting this up, set your time zone up early. And that's why I began with my availability. There is a default time zone that's set up, but if you have different employees who are in different areas, make sure that they set up this time zone to reflect where they are. Otherwise, everything that gets booked is going to be messed up on your calendar. You'll miss every meeting that you have. And then down below, you can also add blacklisted days. So these are great for things like holidays, vacations, and any other specific days that you need to make unavailable on your calendar. All you have to do is just add an entry here and put your birthday and then set the date and time of when that's going to be. So my birthday is 7/3, and we'll set it for next year. And there you go. 7/3. And if you want to repeat it, you can repeat that as well as every year. Or I guess you can't do year, but you can do daily and weekly repeats. We'll click that. I've got my birthday set up. I didn't change the end time. I would just set it for all day. But that's how you can create a blacklisted day that people won't be able to book. Okay, I'm going to save my changes now. And we're almost all set to begin using this, but I want to go to my personal calendar now and show you a couple things here. Now, this is where you're going to enable it. I think by default it is enabled, but you may want to come here anyway and check it, your personal calendar, just to make sure that this enable toggle switch is turned on. Once it's on, your calendar is published, and anybody who has a link to your calendar can begin booking time with you. I think it's a good idea just to put your company's logo here in this image area. It just makes it look nicer when they're viewing your calendar, which we'll look at in a little bit. And then down below, there should be a little bit of text here just to explain what your calendar is all about. And after they book time, have a little message for them too. Maybe a link back to your website or something like that, just so that you can complete that loop of communication and your workflow with them. Before you can save this, um, you have to select a default activity type in Act. So if you haven't done that yet, when you click save, you may get an error, and that's done on the where did I put that? That is done on the appointment tab, I believe. Yeah, here it is, activity types. So when they're booking time with you, Act needs to know what type of activity is this? How should I put this in your calendar? By default, there's nothing in this field. So if you have custom activity types, like I created a custom activity type for webinar, that could be how people are booking time with you. Or, you just use call like I've done. So make sure you pick something there. Otherwise, you won't be able to save your changes. There's a few other things here that you can do. One neat feature I like is the ability to assign contacts to a group in Act. So as people book time with you, you could create a group in here that says, I created one, I guess, called Appointments Brent. So anytime somebody books time on my calendar, I'm going to automatically add them to that group in Act. And maybe later on, I'll figure out why I want to do this. Maybe I'm going to create a marketing campaign or something like that. And I want to reach out to people who have booked time with me. That's just a great way to keep track of everybody who's using this feature, all of your customers, and then kind of circling around later, maybe with a survey or something. You can have, as long as you have them in a group, you can do that. In the required fields area over here on the right, these are the fields that if you check when they're booking time with you, these are the fields they have to enter information into. By default, email is going to always be required, but you can also require other things like their name, maybe a subject line so that you know what this appointment's about. So it's up to you which fields you want to require. Below all of this, I can set reminders to go out. So any number of days, hours, or minutes prior to the booked appointment, I can send out a reminder email. You should create this template ahead of time. It'll be in your reminder email dropdown. I haven't created this template, but from here, if you've created email templates, this is where you would select that and then choose how many days, hours, or minutes you want to send out this reminder before the appointment. Okay, now I'm going to save my changes and let's have a look of how this is going to work. Oh, I should also mention you can do group calendars too. So I can create a group calendar, which I've done, which combines several of my team members so that a customer can choose which one they want, or I can assign these to different team members to kind of spread it out among multiple people from one calendar, especially during the busy seasons. So that's a useful thing that you can create as well. Now at the top of the screen, if I go back to my calendar, you'll notice that there's a URL up here. This is the URL that I'm going to share with my customers so that they can begin booking time with me. So I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to open up a new tab and we'll paste that in here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. So it always gives everybody a warning what your current time zone is set to. This is great so the customers know, oh, I need to set my time zone. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to book accurately. And the time zone field is down here. They'll see the dates in a month view. The dates that have availability will, when they click it, they'll be able to see the dates that are on there. Maybe I didn't set up my calendar correctly. I choose a different calendar. I don't know what I did. I was clicking around kind of crazy. But let's go look at one of my other customers' calendars. Let me try this one. There we go. Okay, so this person has bookable time on their calendar. I must have turned something off without thinking. So yeah, a customer will see this, and from here they can just book time. So let's say they wanted to book time on the 24th at 11 a.m. Let's click the button to book, and then we get the fields that were marked as required. Time. They can put details down below. Then they need to put in their information. So again, I'll put in Sharon and her company and her email address. From here, she can just click create appointment. And then this is going to book time on the calendar with that employee. If I go to her email again, I should immediately see that she's got another email from me, online appointment notice. This lets her know, okay, you've booked time with this representative on this date at this time and any details that you entered down below. So now she can just click this button to add it to her calendar, whether she's on Google or Outlook or whatever she's using. It's just, I think, an ICS type file. If I switch back to Act and I go to the calendar now, I should be able to see that this is going to appear. Let me go to my monthly view, and I'm going to select just to view Al because he's the one I think I booked her with. We should see that this calendar invite shows up now on Al's calendar in Act. It's a call activity. Back in online appointment scheduling, I can now switch to my submissions area, and this will tell me a list of people who have now booked time on various calendars. So here's the latest one that we just booked with Al and Sharon. At the top, I can filter this to just show any specific representatives' calendars, or I can view all calendars across all employees. So another cool little feature to filter out what you need to see and what you don't want to see. So there you go. That is online appointment scheduling, now available inside Act Advantage. The last thing I want to show you today is the online event management feature. Now, these can be online trainings, product demonstrations. If you have company town hall meetings with your customers, you can use it for that. So there's a lot of different ideas or options here. You could even use it for a webinar like I'm doing right now. All we have to do is create the event, then design our sign up form, and really just schedule any reminder or follow-up emails. After the event, we could even target our list of signups with a marketing campaign. So there's a lot that you can do here in creating an online event and managing it like this. But let's have a look. And let's say that I wanted to schedule an online webinar because I want to highlight some of my products for maybe the end of year season. So I'm planning ahead. This is going to be in mid to late December. And I want to highlight some things that people can look forward to in the new year. In Act, I'm going to access this by going to the additional features area. And from here, I'm going to locate my marketing section, and I'm going to choose online event management. Here it lists some online events that I've already created, but I'm going to create a new one. So I'm going to click the new button at the top of the screen. And I've already set some time aside for this activity in Act. If I've done that, if I've already created the activity in Act, I can link to it, and it'll look at my calendar to find that specific activity. If I haven't created that activity in Act yet, I can do that now at the same time that I'm creating this event. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new event, and I'm going to name it End of Year Spotlight, and we'll just call it 2025. If I had an online webinar already created and ready to go, I could put it here, enter the URL here. But what I usually do is I just type in Zoom URL as a placeholder, and then I'll add it in later once I've generated that URL through Zoom. Now I can also set the date and time. So let's say I'm going to make this towards the end of December, maybe between uh, the week between Christmas and New Year's. So we'll do it on the 30th of December, and I'll set it for, let's do 10 a.m. The last thing I need to do here is make sure I have an activity type. So I've set up a specific custom activity type in Act called webinar. You can do that too. If you go to your schedule menu in Act, you can look up activity types here and you can create your own custom activity types from the schedule menu. So that's what I did yesterday. I think I created a webinar activity type. And that's it. If I have any previous uh, uh, online web events that I want to use, I can use those as placeholders and just import those settings in here. So that's kind of a quicker way to do it. And I also forgot to tell you I can create this duration here. So it's going to be about an hour long. And once I've done all this, I can click Create Event. And now Act is building this out for me. It's published it. It's created my URL, which I could share with my customers now so that they can begin to sign up. But I do want to add a few more details behind this event. And there's several tabs to work with here. So let's start with the general tab. Most of the stuff I've already set up when I created this event, like the name of it, the date and time. But there are a few other things that I want to point out. On the right, this is a great place to put in a description of your event so that when people are signing up, they'll know what this event is about. So I've pre-typed that so that I don't have to bore you with typing this out again. So I'm just going to paste what I have in there. Just kind of says what this event is going to be. Once I finally get my Zoom meeting set up, then I'll put that in here in my event location. So this is where you could eventually put in the correct URL or location of this. You can also use the assign contacts to a group selection to add groups to a contact in Act. And again, this is useful because now I can keep a list of everybody who signs up. And the next time I give an event, I could send out an email to them to say, hey, I've got another event coming up. Why don't you sign up since you previously attended one of my events in the past? Other things you can do is you can add all contacts to this activity in Act. I don't recommend doing this if it's going to be a large scale event. If you have over like 100 contacts, it's really going to run into some problems. There's a contact limit, I think, for associating a contact with an activity. So use this one sparingly. Otherwise, it's going to bog down that activity. Let's see what else we're going to talk about. Oh, yes, fees. You can charge a fee too. Sometimes you have events where there's an associated fee tied to it. Now, this means that you're going to have your online payment system set up. So if you have a payment gateway already going, you'll just need to set this up in the settings area of Act Advantage. And once you have that set up, then you'll be able to add a fee to this. If you have any links on your website that you'd like to publish, you can use these fields on the lower right area to let customers know here's other events, here's documents associated with this event. So all these links are going to be published alongside with the sign up area of the online form. The contact fields tab, this is where you will dictate which fields should appear on the sign up screen, which fields are required and which ones are just there. So you can build this out however you want. And there's even the ability to kind of change the view of it. So currently, if I were to preview this, you can see I just have 2 fields here, which is not, maybe I want some more fields than that. So what I might do is turn on the company field. Maybe I don't need to make it required, so I can edit that and uncheck that box to make it required. I can move this up if I want company to be next to the name. And one of the other things you can do is change the width. So right now I have it set to 100% of the column, but maybe if I change it to 50% and then preview, we can see what that'll look like. So, oh, I didn't save it. Always save. Once I save it and then I preview it, it'll now show my name at 50%, company at 50%, and then email full screen or full column. So you can kind of play around with how that looks as well from your contact fields tab. The emails tab will let you set up a reminder email prior to the event and even follow-up emails after the event concludes. So I have a setting here for the begin or for the reminder event and one for a follow-up. You can also set up drip campaigns down below. And again, this is something that you can do in the general settings of ActAdvantage. I think I created one called 1 week reminder for webinars. So I have that there as well. I'll show you how to do this real quick because I think it's pretty important. So what we'll do is I'm going to click my drip emails tab at the top. And from here, maybe I want to create a follow-up email for my webinars. So I'm going to click new, and I'll just call this webinar follow-up. From here, I might put in a subject that just says basically, thank you for signing up for my webinar. And then down below, when I build this, you can use these merge tags just to personalize it. So I'm saying, hello, contact name. So Sharon in this example. Thank you for signing up for my, and then I can click event name and it'll paste that in there. However you want to title it. And then you can just sort of finish out the email however you want it to appear. Once you've done that and you click save and close, now this drip will be available. This drip email will be available inside the webinar. So if I go back to my webinar here, end of year spotlight, and edit that webinar on the emails tab down below, I can choose my follow-up email. When I click add entry, it'll ask me, when am I going to do this? Let's say I'm going to send this out plus 1 day after the webinar is over. I'll save that. And I could even add one before. So let's do my 1 week reminder. We'll add that and we'll do -7 days. So now I have 2 emails going out, one that's going out 7 days before and one that goes out 1 day after the event. So that's kind of cool. You can set this up to happen automatically. And your customers will appreciate that too, because you're reminding them about it and then you're following up with that so that you can get feedback from them and other things like that. Okay, what are we going to do next? Let's look at our templates. The template tab and the customize tab, these really just let you fine tune the way your sign up form is going to look for the event. So you can choose between a compact view or a default view. You can also customize it if you really want to get into the fine tuning of how this should look. Maybe I want to do an orange border around it. So these are some features that you can create as well. I'm going to click save and let's just close this too. And then I'm going to show you what the customer sees. So we'll go to save and close here. And now I'm going to copy this link because this is the link that I'm going to share right here. This is the link I want to share with my customers. So I'm going to click this to copy my link. And then I'm going to go to an incognito window here and we'll view it. I kept it real simple. I didn't add a lot of bells and whistles to this, but let's say that Sharon's going to sign up for this. And her email address is, all right, verify you're not a robot and click submit. So now she has clicked submit. If I had put any text in there to redirect her to where she needs to go, that would appear here as well. I didn't, so she's getting this sort of generic feedback page. Now, if I go into Sharon's email, again, we'll see this confirmation that she signed up for this end of year spotlight. And then if I had put my Zoom URL, that's where it would appear. So Sharon is all set to go and she'll be ready to attend this event at the end of December. Now, as customers sign up for your events like this, several things are going to happen. If I go to my main events page, for one thing, I'm going to click submissions here at the top, and it's going to show me who has signed up for any of my events in the past, including this one that Sharon just signed up for. From here, I could view any, I could stop any drip emails that are going out. I can view the details. If I had maybe a survey or something, I could see the answers that she gave on that survey. If I go to my main events page again, you can use this action button, this little 3-dot action button, to do the same thing to view submissions specifically for one event. So that's how you can sort of differentiate viewing from all events or one events. And you also have this drop down at the top, which lets you kind of get there from the same place. If I go to my groups in ACT, we'll see that ACT has created a group for this event, and it adds everybody to that group who has signed up. So it's inside the Linktivity group, and inside there, it will create subgroups under the events area. I have my end of year spotlight event, and there I can see that Sharon has signed up. So whenever I have multiple signups, they'll all appear as part of this group. And again, this is useful because you can use a group like this for future e-marketing campaigns in ACT Marketing Automation. If I look at the detail view for Sharon, I'll also notice that we have her signed up. She's going to be attending this webinar. So it shows up on the activities tab for Sharon, and it'll also be on my calendar as well. But again, use that one sparingly, because if you have hundreds of people signing up, you don't want all those people associated with one activity. It gets a little bit crazy. So there you go. We greatly appreciate seeing so many of you here today on this webinar. And also every month that we do this for our regular training webinars. To view the other ones that we've done, go to act.com/explore. This is where you can view previous webinars that we've done on demand. You can share that with anybody as well. And then you can also sign up for future webinars if you'd like to attend live. And I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing a couple more of these inside the ACT Advantage. We're going to talk about marketing accelerators, and we're going to talk about productivity accelerators in the upcoming months. So make sure you sign up for those if you'd like to be live while we're doing it. We also have a recording of a recent webinar that we just did featuring our CEO, where we covered the commercial aspects of ACT Advantage, such as packaging, pricing. So if you're interested, go to act.com/explore to check those out. You can also email us at team@act.com if you have suggestions or ideas for future webcasts. We love getting that feedback from everybody. So please email us with your ideas. Thank you again, everybody, for attending today. I hope you found it to be useful and informative. We're going to stay on the line here for a little bit longer just to answer any remaining questions in the Q&A of Zoom. So thanks a lot. Take care and have a good week.